Hello everyone, welcome to episode 18. Today our series turn major. It can buy beer. It's a joke. So now at episode 18 we're gonna do something very cool. I'm gonna show you how to recycle the entire scene to make it like another scenario. So let's say that this scene in the whole story we did was scenario 1. Now let's say that we want to base our RPG in a scenario manner, So now we want to transition into what's next. What's the next dream of Rem? Or if you don't go into the inception route of episode 16, what is the next scene at all in this game? It works both ways. It's fantastic. So in this episode, so we're gonna recycle Mr. Moustache Man here, so we can talk to him and tell him, or rather he'll tell us, are you ready for what's next? Something to that intent. And then if we already completed once the dream or the first section of the game, no matter how you see this, then he will offer to switch to the next scenario, which is the next version of the city, which can be another place altogether, or it can be just the night cycle. But in my case, I'll make another scenario like this is part 2, like the day after, same city, but the day after, and it's night, so it's the night of the same whatever, okay. And if you take this at the inception way of episode 16, well then it's just the next dream, so it works anyway. So what we're gonna have to do is duplicate the scene, but then we're gonna have to rewire it, because we cannot have two scenes with the same name. Also, all the teleports that are currently all over the place, they will not work in the new scene, and we don't want them to work. We don't want the first scenario to lead to the second scenario. We want to keep things separated, so we will do all that, and then we will work with the multi-quest activation thingy that will check, did you complete scenario 1 before you can go to scenario 2? So I'm gonna show you a lot of things in this episode. Recycling a scene, incorporating a night, and also switching everything I just said. I'm not gonna say it all over again. So I hope you guys will enjoy the episode. It will work no matter the direction that your project goes, or for any project at all, I hope you enjoy the episode, and yeah. So let's start with duplicating this scene. A lot of stuff will happen when we will duplicate this scene. So what we want to do is to rewire stuff. So now I select scene numero 1, scene numero 1, and I Control D to duplicate it, and it becomes scene numero 2. So now this scene numero 2, we want to be sure to separate it, to differentiate it from scene number 1. So you start by double clicking it. You look at the top bar to be sure that it says scene numero 2. Sorry, numero is number in French. That's why it's confusing me as I read it. My language center is so confused. So you add the scene number 2 into the build settings. From here on, it's a scene of its own. But what we want is to remove the old teleports, because like this teleport that take you from the room in the demo into the city scene number 1, we don't want that. We want this to be a separated universe, a separated scenario, a separated instance of the city, and at that point you can use it like you want. It can be like just a normal night transition. It can be scenario 2. It can be the next dream. What you do is you create a lot of scenes, and then you apply a story concept and you execute it. Is where I'm getting at. So I'm not gonna delete the battle area for now, but the monsters on the map, we're gonna move them away. At that point, French me is not sure if we're gonna keep them or not. But later on, we'll decide we'll import free asset new monsters for the night, because they will fit very well with the night decorum. Even though crows would fit night, they're so noisy. Even with the silence we added, they're so noisy. We're gonna put very calm and silent slimes instead. So what we want to do, I saw right now, before I speak about the monsters, the chests, we need to address them, because right now they're named 001 and 002, which is fine. So there you have another decision to take. Do I want to leave them there in the next scene. Like, oh, it's just night, I'm gonna leave them there, why would stuff reappear in them, you know? But if it's like a totally different scenario that you will never come back to, then you might want to create new chests, you know? So I'm gonna leave both of them there because they come from the first dream, but in the second dream, or in this scene number 2, I'm gonna add a third chest. But you cannot access the third scene unless you already completed the first scene. We're gonna set up the Multiquest Activator in this episode. So now that French me has done explaining all that, I think he will soon move on. He will soon move on to put the new chest. So the new chest, we will put the mace in it, the hammer, the sledgehammer. For now, we'll put that in it because I just wanted to make sure that you understand the difference of having a same chest. Because what differentiates the chest is the number assigned as an element. This is what determines if the chest is open or closed. So I hope that I got through to you explaining that the first 2 chests, if you do not remove them, they will appear as opened. And then you decide the realism of the scene. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? If it's a bad thing, you remove the chest. If it's a good thing and you want them there, you leave them there. But now I'm adding a new chest. This chest, I'm gonna name it 006 because that was the next available slot. Do add it in the main objects loader though. French me went a bit too fast. I'm gonna have to add it later. So we're just gonna drag and drop the new item because it's the only new item we have at the moment. It's a very slight upgrade from the sword. So we're gonna put this into this scene since it's like after the boss, it needs to be a slight upgrade. So now there's a lot of things we need to do, but let me just double check the list real fast. And we're gonna put the knight as well in this scene with the common event. But at this point, I'm just waiting to synchronize up. What is he doing? He's speaking about the enemies. Well, what I'm saying right now is it's up to you to decide if you want to leave the same enemies. But me, since our scene is very small because this is a game we make in the context of a tutorial video series, you might want to replace the monsters, not to have the same monsters in every scene, you know. Like at least color palette swap them, you know. If they have that, otherwise you need to do it yourself. But we're just gonna do slimes anyway. So now I move them out of the way. But the two battle areas that have scripts on them, the patrolling scripts, you need to deactivate the scripts. Otherwise, moving them away will not make them not patrol, you know. The position that you place them on the scene is actually just the position of the initial first fraction of a second, if you will. After that, the code ends up reading the script, and once he reads the script takes control of the position, and the position says you go between -10 and something, so he will not stay off the screen. If you want to really remove it from the screen without deleting him because you're not sure if you want to make him have a secret appearance or something, put him on the side like I did, but do uncheck the script attached to them, otherwise they will patrol even if you put them away. So once you do all that and you manage to keep up, we will go back into the first scene. So right now we're back in the scene number 1. Mr. Moustache Man will make a comeback, but he will only make a comeback if you already completed the entirety of the thing. Because this, speaking to him, we will put a dialogue choice on him, which will work first try since we patched it in the last episode. And since the episode before that, I learned that you need to put the close dialogue on every single option, otherwise it stays open. So now I got this, guys. The first time is always try hard, then it's mastered. This is how you learn things, by doing them. And there's so many things to do, you cannot do everything at once. You have to do things in an order. So like I said, this guy, me personally, I really like the idea of scenarios, you know. if you look like games like Shining Force or whatever, it's divided into scenarios and it makes all the parts very memorable, and I like the concept. But I also very much like the Inception concept. But at the end of the day, you can use it like you want. It's just about how you. It's about the dressing, how you present the things. It's about the storytelling. At the end of the day, what we do now is create all the mechanics, and then you can just name it as you will. So we're gonna go on with I duplicated him. No, we recycled him, but I create a new dialogue for him because we don't want to use the same dialogue. So once we create his dialogue, we're gonna want to go deep into the dialogue choices, and also make a teleport that if you say yes, it will teleport you to the scene number 2, which is the night scene with the slimes, which can be the next dream, or it can be simply the night of the regular scene. Like I said, you dress it like you will. So I create choices right there, bang bang. Once that is done, we're gonna have to put consequences to the choices. So for yes, you put teleport and close dialogue. For no, you just put close dialogue. And then that it's in the scenario 2 NPC dialogue that we are gonna type the text like, are you sure? Are you ready for what's next? Or you wanna switch to night? Or you wanna do scenario 2? Or whatever you want to make him say. So right now I'm putting the NPC there. So if it says yes, I want you to deactivate him, because I remember how much I struggled in the past episode when I tried this feature for the first time. So now I mastered it. Just once is enough, because it's simple. It's just that figuring it out without reading the instruction manual is always not a good strat. But we got through, and now we master it. So both of these things are placed. Now I'm just gonna have to add the teleport in the other slot. So we need to create a teleport. So right click to the RPG kit objects, we put a teleport. We place the green rectangle near Mr. Moustache Man, but the point there, we need to move it away, because we're not gonna come back through that way, and if we do, we want to come away the same way that every time, which is to sit on the bench. You wake up and you're like, oh my god, which dream is this, or which scene is this? Oh, I see it's slimes. This is my second dream. Oh, I see the anti-hero. This is the first nightmare again. You can. I hope I'm getting through you to guys to how amazing this series is becoming. I just hope that I'm getting through explaining the concept, because the concept and how it plays out, it's so great. The execution is very important. So now, Mr. Moustache Man, this teleport will lead to scene number 2. I'm gonna name the teleporter scenario 2, because it's one of the possibilities that you can use this for, is to make a scenario system. So you can have then a checklist. Did you complete scenario 1 through 4? Yes. Then a special scenario 5 unlocks. I'm gonna show you guys how to, because right now we're setting the dialog choices and the teleport. Put it in the slot right now, and you need to check this, because it will activate it because right now I deactivated it, because we don't want it to teleport you when you get near. We want it to teleport you if you choose yes, and only if you choose yes. I should have brought more water. My mouth is so dry, sorry. So apparently I not put a head on Mr. Moustache Man yet, so we'll put his head. You cannot be Moustache Man without a mustache and a floating head. But about that floating head, we can very easily place it back to make it not look like that. It's just that kind of speed running the tutorial. I have not polished yet. Polishing will come in one of the latest episodes, because there is no point in polishing until the mechanics are done, because sometimes you can build a huge machine of mechanics and then at the end it doesn't work. What if you wasted time polishing it on top of it? No, you really nail all the mechanics before even thinking about polishing. I think I even spent too much time making our game look so nice. If you look the other demos, they don't put the effort that I do into painting scenes for hours just to have a playground to teach you guys and for you guys to get to know the NPCs by name and really to understand. That's the way you get an understanding of, oh yeah, I understand. Otherwise you're not gonna get from A to Z. Otherwise you fall in a labyrinth. But now I make this small by purpose. I make the characters memorable by purpose. It's all part of my teaching method. It's just that you need to watch the whole thing for it to sink in. So now place the teleport to come back. So this is back into scene number 2. Well, to come back, if you speak to scene number 1, Moustache Man, you tell him, yeah, I want to go to scenario 2, you're gonna appear there on the bench. So instead of seeing anti-hero walking, you're gonna see slimes, and it's gonna be night time. So you're gonna definitely know immediately that this is a night time and the different scenes with different monsters. But we're gonna have to make you fight your way all the way to the chest. So now we go back soon into the other scene, I think. To active, yeah, scene number 1. And now, guys, I need your attention even more, because now this is new stuff. We go into new territory for you guys. I mean, we're gonna go into the Multiquest Activator object. I always butcher the name. Sorry, long chain words in English that are not the same order than in French. Make my brain go nuts. So now what we want to create is some kind of referee system. You know, a system that will decide. Yes or no. So I create an empty object. So this referee system, I just call it like that. It's not actually called like that. This system is gonna decide if Mr. Moustache Man should be shown or not in the street. Because Mr. Moustache Man, if you remember, he was very scared of the big anti-hero and he ran into his home. And it's only when you defeat the big bad guy that he will come out of his home and you can talk to him, and he will let you go to the night time, which can be scenario 2, which can be another dream. So you can even rewire the scenes as dreams directly from Rem's bed. Instead of making a yes/no dialog box, you make which dream do you want to visit, 1 through 10, let's say, and then you put conditions on the actual choices for you to have completed the previous ones. The sky's the limit. It's so great. So now I'm configuring stuff. I hope you gave attention to the screen, because it's hard to keep up. I speak so much faster in French. You need to understand this, how much faster I speak in French. Just go take a look, not if I'm like super tired, but right now I'm looking and my lips are moving so fast, I'm like, holy crap, there's no way I'm gonna manage to say everything. So right now, into this object that I rename a container for scenario 2, I put the scenario 2 NPC, which is Moustache Man, which I deactivated. And now I right click, add component, Multiquest Object Activator. This thing is where I can say I want you to activate or deactivate something, but right now my French counterpart did it wrong. It's not done, but I'm just saying in advance. There is a slot on top called object to activate, and I need to drag the NPC actually there in that slot and not on the bottom on the trigger. I will fix it later in the video. I'm just letting you guys in advance know. So now I'm looking at the logic of stuff. Which mission, which quest shall I use as a decider, as a referee of should Mr. Moustache Man spawn? We only created 4 quests so far. So All Man Part 2 is the latest that we created. This is the quest that gets completed when you give the magic truffle to him and he uses it to explode the rock blocking the way to get to Mother, and then you beat Mother, you meet your ghost twin, then you wake up from the nightmare into the demo game, and then you can go back into the city. So since the All Man Part 2 mission is at the point where you're stuck in a cave, there is only 2 ways from there. Either you die, and since there is no save point, you definitely will not have Moustache Man spawn, or either you did not die and you killed the mother and you managed to get out of there and save, at which point Moustache Man will be there when you go back in the city, because you will have made it back to the city while having him in your team, basically. So putting this mission as a gatekeeper will completely be sufficient for now. However, like I said, there was a field on the top named drag the object to activate. French counterpart forgot to drag and drop the NPC, so when I will do a demonstration later, in like half an hour or something, I will get to the very end and damn, I will notice, oh, I just forgot to drag, and everything will work after that. So I'm saving you guys time. You're lucky to be English. So now we're gonna put night time before we forget. So the night time has to be in the scene number 2. So I'm gonna have to go into scene number 2, because when we talk to Mr. Moustache Man, we'll appear in scene number 2, and then scene number 2 needs to be night time. So we go into scene number 2, we right click, common event. This bad boy here is very dangerous, it can destroy the game. So you need to use it with caution. Now we use it for night time only. When we zone in there, it will be night time. Now I need to explain to you one thing. This has to be taken care of like a yes/no switch. So when the player zone into scene number 2, the nighttime switch will be turned on, which means basically unless the player steps in another scene where there happens to be a common event component that happens to have the day checked, the day will never come back. You need to understand this. The night and day transition, the common event forces stuff. So you need the developer, the person building the logic thing, you need to be responsible for activating and deactivating nighttime. Otherwise, you will lose track of the day and the night, and you will have to step in specific scenes, and that's BS. So use with caution the common event is where I'm getting at. So now that I configured it to make it night, we're gonna create slimes, because I do like the crows, but who cares? We need slimes. So the slimes, the problem, which is not really a problem, but is the slimes that come with the demo don't have animation, so we cannot make them crawl. But look here, free slimes. This is like, there's always a free solution to everything on the internet, because there's so many humans that are generous. There's a lot of bad people, but there's also a lot of good people. So thank you, good people, and I hope we continue to grow the community with more of you. So download this asset. The link is down in the description if you want. If you don't want to, do like you want. But this is nice slimes, you know. In the nighttime, they look very cool, because the nighttime don't affect the layering of the monster unless you manually configure it otherwise. So I'm gonna leave the slimes by default, and they look radioactive. It makes the night scene look so good. You will see in a few minutes. So now, not to mix the spriting, the assets, I create a folder for the new radioactive slimes, and I name it accordingly. So now I'm gonna take all the assets that are from the free websites, and I'm gonna configure them all. It's gonna be very long and painful to do a voiceover on that, so I just might go do some hydration or something. We'll see, okay? So now I'm gonna explain the stuff while I remember it. Look at there are like 3 different type of object. The 4 ones are the portraits of the monsters. Then there are 4 tile sheets that go along with the 4 portraits, and then the reject in the middle is the projectiles. That's why it's such a small tile sheet. It's just projectiles. We're not gonna deal with projectiles in this video, because this video is 1 hour 20 long. There's no way I'm gonna push it 5 minutes more to include that, so we'll cover projectile in another episode. But in this episode, we will set every one of those slimes up except the orange one. I'm sorry, orange one, you look great, but French me is gonna look at the clock by slime number 3 or slime number 2 and be like, man, these slimes are taking so long. Just imagine that I did all 4 colors even though I only did 3. And also I am only going to configure the red one properly for battle to save time, because the clock, this episode is very intense, and all my episodes, or almost, are intense in features. A lot of stuff to teach in so little time. So yeah. So what I want to finish saying is that there are portraits coming with the slimes, but look how good they look. We're gonna use them as battle enemies, as battle sprites. Not gonna use them as portraits. Or not gonna speak to a slime. You can make a slime NPC, in which case you would use it, but currently we're gonna use a slime as like enemies that show up at night, for a reason that we will figure out one day. So yeah. So we will use, since currently our enemies, while in a battle, are just overing. They don't have, as of yet, animations on top of the animation that make them over. Because you just need to add another set of animation on top of it. But yeah, one thing at a time. I need to show you guys things in order. So pay attention to the size that I'm slicing everything, if you want to be sure not to make a mistake. Like these are rare 48 by 48, and the projectiles will be 24 by 24. So yeah, since our enemies are not animated, we will use the good-looking portrait as enemies instead of using those tiny slimes. Those tiny slimes we will use to crawl all over the scene, is what I wanted to finish to say. I really need to drink some water. I'll be back in a few seconds, I'm sorry. Good thing I got a fridge next to my computer. That thing is the big black thing that says Marshall on it. It's actually a refrigerator. It's just that I reskinned it. I got a skin on my fridge. Why not? It looks appropriate next to my bass pedal, even though my pedal is plugged into my Motu, and my Motu is plugged into my computer. So there is no Marshall involved at all into my music. It just happened to be the coolest looking fridge I ever saw, and it has black lights in it. So I store all my water and my chocolate milk and my rock stars in there. Sorry about that. It feels so good. You guys got extra lore that the French don't have, because my French version speaks so fast. It's all information, and this English version, you guys, I might be a bit less informative, but I'm certainly more lore deep. There's not much to say, honestly, because he's just talking about sprites, and we've been over this so many times. If this video happens to be the first time you get on the channel, just know that this is a series that is intended to be watched chronologically, so the reason why I skip and I go so fast the bigger the episode number gets is because I assume my audience is now more educated, because I assume they have been through episode 1 through 11, through 17, before coming to episode 18. So I do the series non-stop, I know chronologically what I teach in what order, and so this way I know what I've taught multiple times, and it's why when I go over the section, maybe you're like, why are you going so fast? Oh, because this is the third or fourth episode we cover that, This is just this is just why. So just listen to the series from the start if you need basic information that I go over too fast in the later episodes. So back to our business. Now that we're done actually treating all the sprite sheets, we decompress them, we slice them. So now what we need to do is to actually create the enemies. And once we create the new enemies, then we can reskin them with the sprites, and then we can create them as enemies. And it's a very long process. That's why I spent so much time on the slimes that I was like, yo, I'm sorry, orange slime, but this is nuts. So we're gonna use the basic slime from the kit as a receptacle, as a container. that we can reskin into all the flavors of slimes. So we had 4 flavors of slimes, and we want to keep the original one. Honestly, the gourmet and the slime are my 2 favorite sprites from the demo kit. I think they both look amazing. I needed to say that. I think Mother looks atrocious though. So there, I got a counter argument. Arjam makes the best slimes and the worst mothers. It's a joke. It's not the worst at all. I'm just making exaggeration to be funny. So now we created and duplicated all the slimes, so I added them all as enemy prefabs. So now I call them empty receptacles because they're basically that. Their name is Slime 1, Slime 2, Slime 3. But now we can reskin them, rename them, and the enemy prefab list will update itself. That's the whole thing. Since we link the item in the field, no matter what we do to the item, the field will update itself, is what I mean. So now I'm giving names to the slimes, and I'll shortly go over the theory of the names, because the kit automatically assigns numbers after the name. So let's say you were to name them Slime 1. Let's say the blue slime is Slime 1. Then you enter a battle and there are 3 Slime 1. It will say Slime 1, 1. Slime 1, 2. Slime 1, 3. That's like nonsense. So instead of calling them with a number in the end, you need to call them with no number in the end, like yellow slime. So then the game, since it automatically renames them, it will automatically rename them Yellow Slime 1, Yellow Slime 2, Yellow Slime 3. So you're not gonna end up with a double last number, you know. I'm just telling you a big brain strat to accommodate to the fact that the kit renames enemies with numbers, but that's fine. That's fine. I understand why the kit does that. This way it can differentiate the enemies and stuff, and you as the player can differentiate which one it is. But you already can visually, I think. But I'm not 100% sure if the enemy also has a blue arrow. I know the player have arrows, but whatever. So now we've renamed all the slimes, I think. Now we just need to reskin them, to drag the new sprite in them, and also to give them stats and stuff. But like I said, this is taking so long that I will only configure battle ready the red slime. The green and the blue, I leave them as they are, which is identical copy of the slime from the demo game. So they are very low level enemy. But the red slime, I will update it to to be similar to the anti-hero. So yeah, and to flip the sprite, you need to select it and click on that X right there, because in the battle in the kit they look to the right, you know, because the player is on the right, the enemy is on the left. So if you don't want to have weird enemies looking to the left, you need to flip their sprites, because the portrait of this asset they look to the left by default. So I'm about done reskinning all the things. Oh no, there's some more left. So when I'm done reskinning all the sprite, I think I will move to make battle ready the red one, and then we'll be animating them on the map. Because while we prepared the tile sets a few minutes back, we sliced them and all, we did not put the sprites on the map to animate them. By this episode, you understand this, of course, that it's two different things. The sprite you see on the map and the enemy prefab that gets referred to by an element into the battle area are two separate things, you know. So you need to have both, unless you want to put invisible areas everywhere. But I feel like in 2024 we're so far past invisible areas. You need to have some visible monsters. I think I never seen my kid get an invisible monster and be happy about it. All kids are different anyway. I'm just saying you need visible enemies, otherwise what does your game have visually? The game is a narrative game. You need to really crank up the tactical, you know, you need to crank up the strategy, the difficulty. You need to make the thing super memorable, super intelligent. You really need to do something if you make a RPG. You cannot have a bland game. Nothing is going on. The text is not interesting. The visual are not interesting. The story is not compelling. The monsters are invisible, so you don't even see them. Yeah. So no. So me, what I want to make is games that are so memorable that even if I end up giving the game, I want the game to be memorable. I am not making a game to waste my time. I'm making a game to have an impact on the people that would play it. Hopefully young people will play it as well, because I got good fodder things to give. And I remember when I was young playing games, if you play good games, you get the artists or the people making game. If they're a good person, they find a way to express themselves and to come through and to have an impact on the people that play the game. So right now I'm up to boosting the slime, because I was like, okay, we created the green and the blue. They're just copies, they're very weak, but I at least want to have one sort of mini boss fight, So I just put them like 90 health, but I'm gonna put 3 of them. So this way we're gonna be able to cover how to diagnose things that go wrong when you test for the first time the size of a sprite. So we're gonna see that they will be too big, and we will adjust them very easily. Drinking some chocolate milk, actually. Nothing. It's better than coffee at this hour, because coffee is not good at this hour. It's 2:18 a.m. right now. You lucky guys. I cannot sleep without having a voiceover up on the internet, freed to be implanted into your brains to make you make your game better. And then I can sleep knowing I've done all I could today in life. I really did all I could, and hopefully someone will appreciate it. So now I'm adjusting the stats. I'm giving her like very low agility because it's a slime. I really want it to be slow. I gave her a lot of strength and defense because I was always marked when I faced hard slimes when I was young. The Final Fantasy slimes, they all have different resistances, and yet it's always mental gymnastic to find the good spell to hurt them, and I encourage you to do the same, because it left an impact on me, and it will left an impact on the next generation as well, because we are the same. There's no difference between us and the generation after or before. So no important difference, I mean. So it will make an impact, I promise you. So me though, I don't have time right now. I'm just setting up the red slime real fast. I think I put it type fire because it's red. The green one you can put it air. The blue one you put it water. Orange one I guess you can put it ground, something like that. But right now French me is like, oh my god, the clock is so far. We're almost 40 minutes in. This is insane. We don't even have sprites on the map yet. We don't even see the slimes yet. All we did so far is duplicate prefabs, create the prefabs themselves, reskin them, prepare the tile sheet, and now we get to put them on the map. It's so time consuming. It's why I skipped the slime. So now maybe you start to understand, oh my god, I think I would have done just one slime if I knew that. Yeah, maybe I would have done just 2, but whatever. And the result is I've done 3 different color of slimes. So once they're properly configured, we're going to be able to prefaberize them and copy paste all over the place if you want. But I always do that part at the end. When it's properly configured, then I prefaberize it. Otherwise you make prefabs of bad, not up-to-date stuff. So now I'm curious, like, why are there so many holes in those tile sheets? But whatever. We got enough frames for what we want to do. You can do anything you want, actually. This sprite, for instance, you see you can make it shoot projectiles. That's why it comes with the projectile sheet. But this would mean making this 1 hour 20 episode into a 2 hour 40 episode. So no. No, never mind. that's not what I meant to say. Oh no, yes, the animator, yes. Teaching you about the animator would take a full hour because this is not. This is complicated because you need to create all different animation. Let's say you create walk left, walk down, walk right, walk up. Then you create shoot a projectile left, shoot a projectile up, shoot a projectile down, shoot a projectile right. Then you create like idle, attack, or surprise, and death. So you just created about 10 to 12 states. You need to assign the sprites to every one of those states. So far it's not that bad. It's just very long and tedious. But then you need to implement to wire all the logic of all those states. And that's where it gets very hard because you need to set things and to test as you go and to correct. And when you end up getting it all and you see that the creature is able to switch, you still need to make the AI for it because you just created the gearbox that switches between the states, but you still did not implement the intelligence to make it switch from the states. So then you need to use coding, and in the coding you need to use the proper names to solicitate the animators you created. So then with a script you can manipulate and create AI, say like when you go right, show that animator, and when you go up, show that animator. Sometimes do alt and shoot a projectile in a random direction. So you need to code all that and to link all that together. So that's why I'm saying it would be probably a 2-hour episode. But I just explained it so well considering that I'm French and that I speak in English basically from watching a Three's Company and Star Trek. I'm doing my best right here. But yeah, so teaching the least tech savvy people are not gonna understand what I just explained in a minute. I'm gonna need 2 hours to explain to them. So I need to think of the lowest common denominator, which means the people that really are new and that are here to learn, that probably should start with episode 1 or 2. I think the episode 1 is just a demonstration of why Unity. Episode 2 is importing the kit or something like that, so I guess you should start from episode 2. So right now I just made an animation and I'm explaining basically what I said in a shorter way, that you need to create all animation state, and we're not gonna do that right now into this 1 hour 20 episode. I'm just gonna leave it as is, and I'm gonna do it one day if I want to. Otherwise it's not important. The next time we'll do it better. We won't put into it the shooting projectile animation, so we won't have to bother about how it looks. The next slime will just be moving from left to right in a walking animation like or regular monsters. And then the red slime, I will put it next to the chest and it's not even gonna move. It's just gonna cycle a weird animation because it's like the mother of the slimes. So now I move on to the green slime. This one, like I said, is going to be a lot easier, but it's still very long. But at the end of the day, I'm doing stuff that I explained to you so many times. Though this time I'm going to cycle the animation more smoothly in a way that we might have not done yet. So I'll explain it when we get to there. So as usual, point as a player layer, put a collider on it. You don't have to, but if you don't want to walk over it, you better put a collider. So this way, if it's not an enemy, it will block the path at least. So I'm very content with the name and the emplacement of this animation. Now we just need to select the sprites. Like I said, I'm not gonna pick the weird sprites that shoot projectile, because I don't intend to add projectile in this episode. So I'm just gonna take the ones that make the slime move normally. The normal walk anim of a slime. Is it even walking? It's sliding, or it's sliming. Sliming. So you take these and then you reverse the order, like I was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames into the anim. So what you want to do for it to look smooth is you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2. So you make like a crescendo. I'm not sure I use the proper word, but you go from 1 to 5 and then you do 4, 3, 2. So this way the animation will cycle smoothly. It will not break from 5 go back to 1. It will go like 1 2 3 4 5 4 3 2 1 4 3 4 5. Sorry if it's hard to count in English. That's why I say numbers in French by mistake all the time, because I don't count in English in my head. It would be madness. Imagine having 2 languages, and imagine when you speak in your head, you speak in your native language in your head. You don't speak in another language in your head. But when you think about in English or whatever, yeah, sure, I can think in English in my head, but I'm not gonna do mathematics in English. Screw that. No. You do math in your native language unless you want to fail at math. Unless you're a total genius, you do math in your native language. So if you're born English, you're very lucky, because then your brain has so much more room, because you don't have to learn multiple language. But at the same time, since you are not learning at least 2 language, your brain might have more room, but it also has less of a language, less perks into your language skill tree. I express myself in video game analogy because for sure you will understand, since you're a game dev, since you're here. Your human skills, they work on trees the same way, even though people have not put names on them yet. I have, and yeah, it levels up. Just trust me, I'm a big brain. So now I'm animating this guy, but I'm gonna notice that his weird sprites are not what I thought. The sprites I selected are like for a trap. You step on it, it goes off the ground, and then it does that. And then the other sprites is the dying animation. So right now I'm gonna take a lot of sprites. Then I'm gonna notice, right, I just told you, like, whoops, this includes a trap and the dying animation. It's not actually what I wanted. I just want the animation for it to whip is whatever that is slimeness, because it's a slime, so it's not tentacles, you know. So it's just whipping is T1000 is slimeness, star shaped, whatever. So when I be done with this animation, we can finally move on, guys. I'm sorry if the slime section was so long, but if I don't show you guys how to animate and to deal with sprite sheets like I'm doing right now, like I'm doing a basic animation tutorial right now in French, basically. Yeah, you need to watch all my videos, because I give information everywhere all the time. I think I might have to make at the very end, you know, when I'm done with the series. And when I say I'm done, I say when I'm done with the core of the series, which means, look, the tutorial is done. Now the new episode will be extracurricular, like, hey, let's make this in our thing from the demo series that still exists, because I'm not gonna delete it. I'm still gonna do stuff when I'm done with the core of the series. So I kind of lost where I was with that, but whatever. So now I remove the dying animation, but my French counterpart did not notice yet that the first animation are like trap animation. So a trap on the ground, like you step on it. So we could put a trigger, you know, like we did on the trap on the ground in the building, in the cyber house, that makes a hole appear and makes you zone into the cavern. We could put this same principle, but on on this mob, if it had an animator. So you'd have the state animation, which is hidden. Then you have the state, which is this one, which is sprouting with the purple smoke. And then you have the state that it could throw projectiles in all four direction while it's doing while it's whipping its slimeness. So now I'm just removing the sprouts thing, because, you know, I just wanted what you see right now. I wanted to have this feeling, but maybe a bit faster, a bit more whippy. Otherwise it's not whipping much. So I'm finally done with the slimes. This is, oh no, I'm not. I need to give them battle areas, don't I? So yeah, sorry guys. Good thing for you is that let's say you decided to keep the crow, maybe you skip the entire slime thing. But at least you don't have to suffer through making them all. It's okay. So now I'm putting basic battle areas for all of them. I put 3 of them because we have not used the battle area with 3 enemies so far. When you use battle area with 1 enemy, then we go into the cave and there are 2 crows. And now when you go into the next dream or the night scene or the second dream or the whatever you want to label this new scene as, it's gonna be a 3 monster zone. So the packs of slimes are packs of 3. But since we did not upgrade the stats of the blue and the green slime, they are just like the level 1 or 2 whatever slime from the kit. So they're not gonna be very strong. But the red slime are gonna be bangers. So now I resize the thing, but I will have forgotten to put it a child. You need to make it a child, otherwise it does exactly that. So we're gonna make it a child. Each slime will have its own battle area. So this is gonna be our static slime because it has an animation that should be shooting projectiles, but the episode is too long, so we'll just put it there and just shoot pretend. It's not hard to put projectiles. It's we have already done the same work that's implied, which is to put animation sprite in the position where he's gonna shoot, and just tell him when to shoot. Thing is that episode is too long, so the green one we will recycle the script NPC patrol because we want to have all types of slime. So there's a boss slime, a regular slime that does not shoot yet, and there's a slime that moves from left to right. So my keyboard is doing funny business because it's not liking the Rockstar I dropped on it a few months back. And then I'm not even gonna touch the stats of the green and blue like I said. They're basically vanilla slimes. So they're just there to be pretty at the moment, because the importance of this episode is to show you how to recycle a scene by duplicating it, then to show you the Multiquest Object Activator in order for you to bottleneck the like we did. Like you cannot go into this scene until you've cleared the previous scenes and stuff like that. So yeah. So now NPC patrol, we're gonna control D to create a new one for the green slime. So it named it by itself NPC4 because Unity is automatically doing it. Just have to rename the class to NPC Patrol 4, otherwise it's gonna be like, dude, there's already a script named NPC Patrol 3. You're gonna mess all my variables with the other script, or I'm gonna move weirdly into your... I'm gonna fly in the next scene after that. You must not touch the variables, even if there's no error that writes because you don't have NPC Patrol in the same scene. You still do not want to use the same names of your classes, but because you will otherwise touch the same variables, and then the speedrunners will abuse it because they like that stuff. So the green slime, like I said, I put the NPC patrol, so I just put coordinates on it and I make it slow because it's a slime. So yeah, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. It's patrolling over the sewer. I think it's funny. If someone find a good 32 by 32 sewer tile, we could make a sewer patch. Otherwise, the free sewer tiles I found are 16 by 16, and they look very 16 by 16. So they would be a bad fit, sadly. Are very nice paid assets for sewers though, like in Feline Realms. My sewers are pretty good, pretty cool. But yeah, I think they were like 15 USD or something. So yeah, there's a market for sprite sewers. That's why there's not many free sprite for sewers, because very little assets are not available in the free version. So those guys have to make money where they can. If the only thing that sells on their itch.io is the sewer, so they're not gonna make it free, otherwise they won't have food on their table, and I understand this. It's why I paid for sewers. But I cannot find a free version for you guys, sadly. That's where I'm getting at. So now I'm making the last battle area. The last battle area, we actually fight against them. This is gonna be our fight. They protect the chest, and we're curious what is in this chest. we're also gonna give them an item to drop, as if we did not spend enough time on the red slime, because we did not yet cover rewarding an item. We gave item in chest, but we did not use the reward item slot that you see there. So you must not put a weapon into the reward item, you must put it in the reward equip item. If you put a weapon into the reward item, your weapon won't be usable, it will break the game, because you will have made a mistake. Same thing, if you put a potion as an equip item, the game will try to equip your potion. You must put the good items at the good place. Otherwise, when you test the game, you will notice items in the wrong category. Like you will see food into the equip category, and you will be like, what? Where did I do that? So that's when you need to look at all those reward items that you put items or equip. So that was a pro tip. I want to make sure that the player absolutely cannot touch the chest without engaging in battle with the alien slime or whatever this is. And there's another problem that I have not configured yet, but I'm telling you in advance. You need to make the slimes, all three of them, a single battle, because right now I forgot to configure them as single battle. So yeah. So now I'm gonna create a staff, because I'm like, what are we gonna put into that reward slot? We need to show the rewards equip slots, where I can talk to you about what I just said about the whole item and equip shenanigans. So now we need to create a new item, because we're out of new items, but it's a good thing that we took the free asset for the kit, for the icons into the last episode. So now I'm gonna create a staff, because I really want to solidify to the player the fact that Ulyss with his heal magic should have the staff, and you should keep the mace on a rem, which is higher level by now and should be settled as the main DPS, and also stuff like that. All game design choices you can change, but me, I really want him to have a staff in his hands, and we can try later to put the staff visually in his hands in the combat scene. It's just that this is going to be an advanced lesson, and giving advanced lesson in English needs preparation, means I need to do it in French first, which means hold on, we will do that later in the series, visually putting weapons on the weapon, I mean in combat. I assume it's going to be easy like it is in other programs where I develop stuff. It's just going to be attach an object with the sprite at the coordinates to the other sprite of the players, and then you deal with the layering, if it's in the right or left hand, stuff like that. But then it needs to be a child object, so when the thing that makes him move from left to right, the sword needs to move along. So it's just about respecting the children. I'm pretty sure that I figured it out, and I make sense as I describe what it needs to be done. So I created the staff from a weapon because I don't want broken items. I reskinned it. I made it slightly less powerful than the mace because it's a staff. I don't want the DPS to roll his gear. Hey, don't roll on the healer gear. I know, so it needs to do a little less damage than the mace. You get even if he gets it, like, oh, it's an upgrade, it's like 18 instead of 15, I'll keep to my hero. Then you open the chest, oh, the mace is plus 20. And then again, you can put the mace on the healer, but I recommend putting the DPS on the DPS, keeping the healer as a healer / debuffer. And when you get a third person, up to you. You can probably make more DPS, or you can make different DPS, or you can make something cool like a summoner. I made a summoner in Feline Realms. It's basically a spell, but with cool big monsters that are summons. So now I'm gonna do a playthrough of what we've done, so that we can see, does it all work? Can we make Mr. Moustache Man spawn by completing the cave? And then will he offer us, do you want to go into scene number 2? And then we have to spawn to see it's nighttime, and we have to get through the slimes, and then we will be done pretty much. So now, what am I doing exactly? Oh yeah, I want to basically... I'm doing it from scratch or what? Sorry, I got a little memory blank. I thought I was gonna... Oh, because I don't have a save game. I think that's it. I think it's because I don't currently have a save game, so I'm forced to get started. But since we in the last episode we created new fire magic and lightning magic, and we made them way too strong. Look how easy this is. I'm level 2 and I'm destroying the entire row. So the thing that's happening is that the weapon is a 15 power, but then my spell, instead of having like 5 or 7, I don't remember, it has like 20. So it does like 20 plus 15, something like that. It adds up. So that's too much. I'm gonna have to make the spell, the fire one, a little bit less powerful, because I destroyed the boss so hard. Either you make the spell less powerful, or you give more armor class to the boss. You need to approach it away from another. I recommend doing a bestiary and being consistent, so this way you can make changes at our current. Balancing will come later as you play your own game. Playing your own game is the key. It's what I'm doing all the time. It's what I'm doing right now as I speak. But well, as the French one speaks, because I'm doing a voiceover, I'm not actually playing, let's be real. So now you notice there are multiple problems with that rock. First we see a shadow through, and then the little rock is so badly placed it prevents from walking there, it breaks the immersion. We will fix visually that rock and remove the small one. So now I'm just going, I'm running fast through the mission, because what I want is to create a save game into which I will have Ulyss in my team, which means that I have completed All Man Part 2, which means that we will be able to see Mr. Moustache Man spawn. This is what I am doing right now. So right now I want to be sure to be able to to beat Rem's mother. So I am doing... I'm making Ulyss get at least 1 level, because right now it's level 1. My spell might be more strong, but his defense... is not that much. So I just kill those crows. Boom. Getting violent. So once that's done, I level up so it heals myself. We're ready to go beat Mother. So once we beat her, we'll be able to... We will go into the back room, and we will spawn into the demo, then we will go back into the scene. And then my French counterpart will see that he missed the little slot that I said, you need to drag the NPC in the slot. So yeah, spoiler alert, it will all work in the end, but this run will not be satisfying. However, I will save into the scene number 1, so I'm not doing this for nothing. I will end up with a save. So now I'm showing Mother that she should not be feeding us old shrimp, because she bought old shrimp at the store. She was like, they're half price. Yes, but Mother, if they're half price is because they were past due date yesterday and the store put them half price, thinking we have to put them into garbage. Maybe some very poor person will be in a hurry and they will not read the date on them, and you bought them anyway. So I was sick and now my hair are green, and it's because of your old shrimp. So this is why you must die, Mother. Yes, it is why. Please do not use this backstory, it is nonsense. So once Rem's mom is gone, we can... that crow. I forgot that. Even on a voiceover, I forgot that the crow had the horrific timing. Wow, 98 damage crit. That was so violent. So, yeah, good thing we critted, so we won't waste time on this fight too long. So we go into the back room right after to speak with the ghost of Rem's twin, or whatever you want to risk in that story. I just like very much what I did with it, if I got through, of course. I'm getting no feedback from anyone, so I don't know if what I do is great or if what I do is unheard. Probably what I'm guessing is that what I do is just unheard, but at some point the YouTube algorithm will stop snubbing me, and it will show me to the right person who will say, oh my god, this is great, he teaches so much cool things, and it's funny too. Yay, let's sub to him. We will see. So right now you wake up in the demo game from the 2D RPG kit and you're like, oh my, this was not a dream. I got the items, I got the guy, everything is right, the dialogue box work because we patched them in the last episode. Everything is fantastic. But now I will have the deception of my life as I see Mr. Moustache Man is not there. But you guys know it's because I only forgot to drag a little component. And I will do that very soon, but first I will save the game because I don't want to beat everything all over again. So I'm gonna save on the slot number 1, and then I do some video magic edit to load the game to save some time because the video was way too long. So now I loaded the game and I'm gonna be a bit confused because Mr. Moustache Man is not there, and I'll be like, wait, what? Let me look at the game manager something, and then I notice, oh, I forgot to assign. I got an error message. There's actually an error message that says the whole thing. I just had not noticed because when you're streaming, you know, or recording a video, doing a presentation, call it like you will, sometimes the little head bar at the bottom you do not see. So then I see, oh, okay, good thing I saved though, right? Good thing I saved though. Actually, it's a very good thing I save, and you guys will see why. Because I discovered a massive problem with the new file system, which is not massive. It's a very simple problem, but it's massive because the consequences are massive of the very small problem. And I'm gonna fix them, so don't worry. Just watch a video till the end. There's even timestamps for the solutions. So right now, the Multiquest Object Activator, I notice, oh, I needed to put the NPC in the slot on the top and not on the bottom. I just put it on the unactivate by habit because it worked all the other days. And I was like, oh, it's been a while, Mr. Multiquest Activator. I totally forgot. But now it's gonna work. But now there's only problem. I loaded the game, but I did not load the game, if you know what I will. So the NPC is not there. Of course, it's not there. I just run the game. I did not menu and load the game. So Mr. Moustache Man is simply not there. So French me is getting pretty tired at this point, you know. We're past the 1 hour mark. The logic is crumbling around me, but it's not logic. It's just that I did not load the game. But it's fine because I'm gonna go inside, and I'm gonna notice another problem. So I'm gonna solve both problems. So I speak to him. It says complete bad boy 1, and right there, French me is not even looking at the right screen. Like I was saying, I was just confused for maybe 30 seconds, and then I get back into it. You need to do what I do now. It's the clone that you need to look. I was looking at the game manager, but the static one. I was not looking at the one that is currently generated that tracks the progress. So this is the one, the clone, the temporary don't destroy unload. This is the one with the check mark, like you see. This is the one that tracks. So now I see, okay, so it works, and I just did the bad boy 1. So now I'm kind of realizing, oh, I just did not load the game. This is why I don't see Mr. Moustache Man. I just did not load the game. So now I'm gonna load the game, and Mr. Moustache Man is gonna be there. However, I'm gonna notice another problem. Where has Alice gone? I am level 9. Alice is not there. The fuck, Alice? Where did you go? Went after girls again? So, yeah, so that's a problem. Good thing we found that, but we see, oh, all the elements are done because I did bad boy, I did all man. So all the logic in my Multiquest Activator and everything, every single thing I taught you is all good. So the problem that we see now with no Alice has nothing to do with me. It's just that when Arjum patched the 4.3 and he exported it on Unity, the Unity version gave a old save file that did not have the logic or whatever. I'm gonna give the code to repair later. Now I'm speaking over a good part. Look how nice the night looks, then the monsters. It looks so nice. But now we see, oh my god, there's 2 problems right there. Problem number 1, we need to make them half the size. Problem number 2, we forgot to put the battle as a single battle. Since it's not a single battle, the battle area is still active, which means we still see the slime. So we need to put that battle on a single area and to shrink the enemies, and then we basically solved all the problems. because there is no problem with the Mr. Moustache. He does warp us at night. There's no problem with anything. The only problem left to solve after the size of that monster is gonna be solving the problem that came from patching the kit to 4.3. So right now I'm looking at the monster and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. It was so long to do the sprites, the slimes, guys. It was so long, that's why I forgot to finish the battle area things. I'm tired of of making battles for monsters I'll never face. It's a joke. I'm not tired and I will face them, but I need to put them on single battle. Now that it's done, just need to fix the size. So we need to go into the enemy prefab folder, and there we will find not the blue, but I changed them all anyway. But it was the red I needed to do first. I'll put them at 0.5, half the size. This is good enough. It's gonna look fine. Trust me. If it's not fine, you can adjust it. But to me, it's gonna look very fine when we test it. So I put all four of them, even the orange one, even though it's not on the map currently. Maybe I'll find time to add it later. So I just do it right now, not to forget it. Now the 4 enemy slimes, they're all half the size, and they're single battle. So I save. Now everything is done. So now I'm just gonna load the game, because I think I just want to see the slimes real fast. Load the scene, not the game. So I loaded right into the scene. So now I'm just level 1. I just wanted to see them, I think. So now I'm speaking like this is the night in the Japanese city, but you guys, you can make literally a 100 version of every single city with night and day transition like this, and do like Stardew Valley. Like, oh, day 1, day 2, and when you speak to the bed, instead of saying yes, no, you can day, what day do you want to go to, or what farm, or whatever, you can instantiate everything like I done. These last few episodes were all mechanics to make everything you possibly can with your game. If you understood what I'm saying, if you really understand and you implement what I did, from there you can reskin it and basically make the next big Undertale. We all try to make the next big Undertale, right? That's all what we're trying to do, making a 2D RPG. If you're not trying to make Undertale, what are you trying to do? What I mean by that, if you're not trying to be a success with your normal graphic game, because you like to make normal graphic game, you don't like to do thing, 3D Blender. Yeah, the reason why we're here doing sprite things is because we hate Blender. Blender is like spend a whole year sitting and just doing that bullshit until you're good. It's like, sorry, life's too short, man. I'm not gonna learn Blender, not right now, maybe next decade. Sorry, I'm specializing in 2D graphics. I think it brings more joy, of more pleasure than 3D game, unless you're a team of people or you're making a very simple game like let's deliver pizzas on a unicycle. Yeah, sure, but that's only one scene. Yes, it's very fun to make one scene games in 3D, but making a full scale game in 3D, oh my god, you need so many people, because if you're gonna say I'm gonna do the animation for them to look nice in 3D, okay, where are you gonna find the time to do anything else? Whatever. So right now I'm speaking over very important stuff. I'm very sorry, but what I'm showing right now is that the game currently lacks the logic to save agility. I'm not even joking. The game currently rewires the logic in a way that does not save Alice, but also he forgot to put agility. So you need to do like me. You really watch what I did. Actually, I'm sorry that I was speaking over it. It's hard to keep track of time. This is such a long episode, but there are two places: into the save and into the load. You both just duplicate the defense line, and reskin it into agility line. Just rewatch what I did. Sorry about that, and do the same. It's very simple, and now it's gonna save the agility, and I'm gonna show it to you. That when I loaded the level 9 RAM, I had 0 agility. This is not even possible because you start with like 10 or 15. We start with 15, I think. So what it means is that the game was saving my agility to 0 value, which is none, which is null, because it was not finding agility. The logic was just not there. There's no getting around it. This is not like, oh, you did not find agility. No, agility was not there. But now with this patch I did, which is just to add the agility line, right now I'm showing what I said. Look, 0 agility on the level 9. This is the game that I save. I'm supposed to have Ulyss, I'm supposed to have agility. I have neither of them. The save system currently is not patched properly. The 4.3 works, the multi-save slot works, everything works, it's wonderful, thank you so much. But he forgot to rewire agility and to rewire party members, and this is what I'm showing you right now in this video. So now you just see now to put agility back. I changed the code and see now, oh, level 1 with 15 agility. Yeah, sure, of course, I got 15 agility when I'm level 1. So now I'm gonna save, and upon loading, the agility will be there now, because we added the logic properly by duplicating one of the lines and save, and reskinning it to agility, and doing the same in the load of the game manager. That's yes. So it's in the game manager that I was, just to be sure. So now, why am I even fighting? Oh, guys, I want to see agility move up. I just want to show you agility. So now I go level up. I look 16. So we got +1. So now I'm gonna save this game that I'm level 2 with 16 agility on slot 1. Now I'm gonna load, right? Load. Okay. I restart the game. And now we're gonna see if my code works, and I know that it works because I already patched that on Feline Realms. That's why I was so quick to show you guys how to patch it. So now you see that my patch works. The agility is now saved, but Ulyss is still not there. Even though this is not the game with Ulyss, because I just saved on top of the game with Ulyss, I kind of shot myself in the foot. So, but now I repaired the save system. Now we need to repair the party member system, because, well, not the system, but the saving of them. We need to teach the saving system that yo buddy, I really love your multi-save slot, but you forgot to put the party member in it. So that's what we need to tell the script. We need to tell him that. We're not gonna type hey yo buddy, but it's basically what we're gonna tell the script. So now I'm gonna open side by side the code of the 4.3 patch that we all downloaded together a week back, and I put it next to the code of my Feline Realms, so you will see visually the difference. I got a lot of shenanigans going on with global timer manager and capybara inventory and bank, and so there are differences. The point is not the differences of the capybara, is look what I selected right now. This loop, this four I only know the vocabulary in French, I'm very sorry. In French it's called une boucle. How do you call a boucle in English? A loop? Well, whatever. I think it's a loop, I'm not sure. Just tell me the name in English, please, so I can look less stupid, even though I'm not. It's hard to speak many languages. So, the for statement, I think that's universal enough. The for statement, both in the save and the load, that says if player prefs get int blah blah blah, what's currently selected on the right side of my screen is what you need to add into the current 4.3 patch, because it does not otherwise save the other party members. I don't know the Unity shenanigans behind that, because when we patched to 4.3, we had learned, well, I had learned at least, that it's very version dependent, so you absolutely need the version 30 F1, otherwise you don't even have the extra save slot component. And I assume that while you know, it's probably good, the code on his side, but when he did that particular update, it must have gotten a different version of the file, or whatever happened. I'm showing you right now how to fix it, and that's the important part. So I'm just stretching time because he's saying a lot of stuff in French, and I honestly I said about the same, but maybe because he's troubleshooting in lifetime, and me, I'm shot calling after the fact, knowing the answers already. So I'm just looking at him, troubleshooting, and what am I even saying between this time? So, but I'm gonna tell you guys in advance. So you see here visually, I'm going to speak about that. You see the agility line. So this is where we added it last time, but it was too fast. I was speaking on top of it. So here you can see it. So worst case scenario, you can get the agility patch here. Just look at the line, player prefs, blah blah blah, agility, character status, dot agility. That line is the one you need to add, and you need to add another line in the load as well. So now I added the for statement, but now I badly pasted it. I noticed, oops, I was missing the first I. So now I recopy paste properly, and now it will be fine. So now that you add this statement, that you will have to pause when I paste it there. You have to pause your thing and to copy what I did, and then you need to do the same here. So I now go in my Feline Realms load thing, because I did not patch Feline Realms to 4.3 yet. That's why I still have the code that works. So now I notice, the 4.3 reverted to a bad state of saving party members, but I still had the code to save party members, so I just copy pasted it. This is how a coder thinks, guys. When you need to fix a patch and the developer is sleeping because he's in another time zone, you use your big brain like I did, and you solve the problem. So right now it's 3 a.m. I solved this. It was maybe 11 p.m. or midnight or something. So you need to be autonomous. But you guys, the ones from you that are really green, there's no way you know how to do this because you did not spend years in school like I did. But me, I hope that you learned something watching. Like, you can compare the old version of your thing that worked with the new version. It's important to back your code. Every other day, back up your code, and then when something weird happens, compare your code. Oh my god, then you notice what madness went wrong in a copy paste or whatever. So now that hopefully you copy pasted, you pause the video and you see now to fix the save slot and the thing, we'll be able to sadly have to get Alice back in the team, because we need to get back in the team in order to save with him. But I'm not gonna go all over beating the demo again. So now I'm realizing, like, you know what, we're wasting way too much time, all the time beating the guys. We need to adapt the underground scene to put a save so we can quickly test right now the system. So I put a save point right there. It's very important that we move on from this episode. So I just put a save point there. So basically we're gonna be able to talk to the guy, give him the truffle, and save. And then we're gonna be able to load, and we'll see if Alice is in the team or not. And if he's in the team, it means that my code worked. Spoiler alert, my code worked. So speak to him, save the game on slot 1, save. Now there's two ways to load the game, in this menu here and from the title screen. Trust me, they are both different logic paths. Sometimes load from the inside the game and load from menu screen were different. I had them patched, and now they're fine. Now they have been patched, and 4.3 they are alright. But in 4.1 or 4.2 I had to reconfigure them, but Arjum made the changes. So now I showed you that Alice is there from loading. So now I just do some magical edit to show you. Now let's load from the title screen, and he's there too. So you're wondering why I do this. Trust me, at some point the characters were there from loading and from the menu, from inside the game, but they were not there when you loaded from the title screen. It's because the logic path takes like a different fork at some point to go to the title screen. Yeah, so now with the code that I put, everything is fine. The agility worked, absolutely everything worked. Our system to create a night scene work. Can be another dream, or can relabel it as what you want. the entire system work. Everything is tested. I even, as a bonus, fixed your agility, and you did not even know you had an agility problem. Test it on your side and thank me in the comments if you noticed that your agility was missing, because I assure you it was. Many people won't thank me, but I hope that inside you know that you should, because I work very hard to bring you these solutions. Me, for one, I really appreciate you guys, and I hope to see you in the next episode. So, hi everyone. Thank you very much for staying until the end of the video. I like to take this time to ask you to please go on Steam and wishlist my game. Also, you can go on Twitch to see me doing some live development occasionally. If you're a super chat or super chatted, you can do additional support on Patreon. Otherwise, please like and subscribe. Those are really what I'm looking after, because I need to reach 500 subscribers to even be able to get some sort of income from YouTube. Until then, I'm doing this all for free. So thank you for subscribing very much.